Hey you guys, it's your girl Internet, and today I'll be doing a reaction on World War One. Now, I learned a lot at school on World War One and Two and stuff, but it's simplified this time, like so anyone can get it. Whoever wants to, like they're not understanding it, like at school and stuff like that, they can watch this reaction and they can hopefully learn from it and stuff like that. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into this learning process. Well, review for me, but maybe I might find something new I didn't know, but I think I do. Let's jump into it, you guys.
The world of 1914, a time of modern technology, culture, and fashion. Truly the height of civilization. Let's have a war. Everyone knew a big war was coming. France wanted some stuff back that Germany had taken from it. Germany wanted to take more of everyone's stuff, and they were building a big sexy navy that was making the British uncomfortable. These two empires thought they were really cool, but lots of different people who lived there didn't think it was so cool. And some of them had even been declaring independence with help from Russia. Everyone was talking about each other behind each other's backs, throwing the fact that military technology had come a long way since the last major war, and
war always start off like something like that. I mean, like it started just like how people nowadays like start like arguments and like all this violence and crime and stuff like that. It's the same way with war. It started like that. Like, and then you have like allies with people you like, your friend jump into it, somebody else trying to jump in, so now you got to jump in it with their friend. Well, because you got to help your friend fight and all like that. Circle of life.
Suddenly everyone was pretty eager to beat each other up. In this area of Austria-Hungary lived some Serbs and Bosnians who hated living in Austria-Hungary. So the Austro-Hungarian Archduke Franz Ferdinand goes there for a nice drive in an open-top car with his car's route published in advance. And that went just about as well as you'd expect. Some assassins were waiting for him along the way and threw bombs at his car, but they missed and blew up some officers behind him instead. So the Archduke goes into hiding, leaves Sarajevo, and the whole war never happens. Except no, the Archduke doesn't leave, but instead goes back out in the open-top car to visit the injured officers in hospital. The driver takes a wrong turn and by sheer coincidence gets stuck beside one of the failed assassins. Who shoots him. Austria-Hungary is understandably pissed about all this, and they think the Serbian government had something to do with it, which they might have. So they go to their ally Germany and say, hey Germany, we're going to declare war on Serbia, and Germany is all for that. So Austria-Hungary send a big list of impossible demands to Serbia, and when Serbia refuses, they declare war. Austria-Hungary and Germany are friends, and Serbia is protected by Russia, who's friends with France, so they all declare war on each other. Montenegro joins in too. France and Britain also have a kind of alliance, so when France says, hey Britain, you got my back? Britain is like, maybe? And then they decide to stay out of it, which is great for Germany, because Germany has a plan. They know that Russia is so big and clumsy that it will take them a while to get ready for war. So with this guy in charge, Germany will send all its troops into France at lightning speed while Russia's getting ready, defeat France, then move all the troops to Russia and defeat Russia, and then we all speak German and eat Pfefferpottast every day. Just one problem. France has loads of forts and defenses along its German border, and Germany can't waste any time fighting them, so Germany decides to go around them. Through Belgium. Belgium is neutral, but Germany wants to march 750,000 troops through it to get around France's defenses. They're hoping Belgium will just kind of sit down and shut up, but they don't. They fight back, and they're pretty good too, so they slow the Germans down. What's worse is that Britain shows up, and they're pretty pissed that Germany's invading neutral countries. So now Britain declares war on Germany. So Germany push on through Belgium and commit some atrocities along the way. They also wear spikes and sometimes skulls on the uniform. So if you're trying to not look like the bad guys, good job. The Allies have a propaganda extravaganza, and this starts having an influence around the world, notably in America. The US President Woodrow Wilson sees himself as a bit of a Jesus figure, and spends most of the war trying to get everyone to just hug it out. But there's also a large population of ethnic Germans living in the United States, and when the war first broke out, they were like, yay Germany! But now that they're committing atrocities in Belgium, they're less enthusiastic. Let's spot the French soldier. Did you see him? He's wearing a bright blue uniform with red trousers.
Right.
And do you know who else spotted him easily too? The Germans.
Right.
So when the French were slowly marching in columns through the countryside, the Germans easily tore them to shreds with their giant guns. All the nations involved in this war went in with an old school war mentality, and all of them had to update their uniforms.
I love stuff like this. I could just, sorry I'm not talking, but I just love stuff like this. I love like this. I love World War II. Like just learning about it, just hearing about it and stuff like that. I actually had uncles, I had great uncles and great uncles and stuff like that fight in the war and stuff like that. That's why I love hearing about stuff like this. I used to just listen to my teacher be like, oh my God, I just love knowing about stuff like this. Like war and stuff like that. But it will get confusing when you see like how they were saying like one place trying to go into it, but they can't and stuff like that. Like they had to go around it, but they ain't finna do that. And then like Britain had to come in like, now y'all just doing too much. Like it can get confusing, so you might have to rewatch that part if you trying to learn about it.
Tactics a lot during the Great War. Because this war was going to be like nothing anyone had ever seen before. Russia's ready for war, and way earlier than expected.
Go.
Hey, Austria-Hungary, can you get on top of that? Oh yeah, sure, we've got this. Nope. So Germany has to send some troops back to the east to defend against the Russians. The chief of staff of the Austro-Hungarian army is this guy, and although he is handsome, he turns out not to be the best military strategist. No. Austria-Hungary constantly ignores Germany's advice, and comes running back to Germany whenever they get in trouble. Austria-Hungary even gets its ass kicked by tiny Serbia, who repels all their invasion attempts at the start of the war. It's better news for Germany in the north, though, where they almost completely wipe out the Russian Second Army. Back on the Western Front, the Germans continue advancing and are in sight of Paris. At this point, anyone would be forgiven for thinking the Germans were going to get that quick victory after all. But then things start to go wrong. The French commander-in-chief knew something had to be done, and he ordered his armies to stop retreating. In the resulting battle, a gap opened up in the German lines. If a gap opens up, the enemy can use it to flank you from the side and behind. Right. So the German armies have to retreat. The Allies launch a counterattack, so the Germans dig into defensive positions. The Allies do the same. Then both sides move north, trying to outflank each other along the way. When they reach the sea, they're in a stalemate with trench systems running the whole way from the coast to Switzerland, the beginning of trench warfare on the Western Front. Here's how trench warfare works. Two opposing lines of trenches with no man's land in between. One side would pummel the other with hundreds of thousands of artillery shells, sometimes for days at a time. This had a huge psychological effect on the soldiers, leaving many shell-shocked. Then, the attacking troops would leave their trenches and rush across no man's land, a muddy wet mass of shell craters and barbed wire. The defending trench would unleash machine gun fire on the attackers, inflicting thousands of casualties. The attackers would send wave after wave until either they gave up or the opposing trench was finally overrun. There would be months of fighting and the deaths of thousands in order to gain a few meters or kilometers of land. Living in the trenches was hard work too. Corpses, mud that could swallow you whole, pools of poisonous water, rats, disease, the smell. It's insane that millions of soldiers put up with these conditions and commanders ordered them to do so for years.
It's just so sad. It's so sad how they had to live within them trenches and stuff like that. Like they had to do so much and catch disease and all like that. And then on top of that, they fighting and stuff like that. My heart just goes out to them. And World War 1, 2, all of the wars and stuff like that. I know them people. That's what them people, when they come back, when those soldiers come back, like they have to go to like a hospital. Like they have to get their mind. They just seen so much. Like, could you just like imagine just seeing all the type of stuff they seen and then just come back and just jump right back into society when you've been living around stuff like this? Like, you can go freaking mad. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I had an uncle. He was in the war and stuff like that. And sometimes he would jump up in the middle of the night and stuff like that. And he would just be hollering and stuff like that. My mom had a friend. She seen he was in the war. And he was a little, he had needed a little help in thinking and stuff. And he had seen like this donkey get blown up, like his guts were falling out. It was like the donkey had like a wagon, like stuff, had like guns and people in there, stuff like that. And it blew up. They blew it up. The donkey was running with his butt cut off and stuff like that. And then like people was cut in half and stuff like that, like were blown off and stuff like that. You got to try to just, like he still needs help and stuff like that. Like it really took him something from him. Like he just, I don't know. You could tell when you talk to him, like something went on, like shouldn't have went on and all like that. But you guys, you tell me, like if y'all have a war story or anything like that, you can text it to me, like sum it up or whatever like that, and we can talk. I mean, because like people that protecting us, you know, they need help, and like they don't even give like a lot of money to those people. They be trying to send them to the hospital, give them drugs and stuff like that to calm them down, which I know they need it, but still though, it just war and stuff like that. It's hard. As you can see, like they had to deal with so much. They only get like little rations of packets of food and stuff like that, and they got to try to hurry up and swallow it, and I bet these people don't even have time to even go poop. They had to just poop on themselves, or well, they mind be, the adrenaline be rushing so much, like they can't even poop. Like it's sad. Ugh. It's really sad. But that brings us to the end of the video, you guys. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Don't forget to comment. Let me know some war stories. Tell me some stuff. If you're a veteran, like let me know. Like if you can say anything. Like tell me what you had to endure and stuff like that. Bye-bye, you guys.